Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, June 8th. We are working on the Americas account and getting all of the news done for E3. So, let's see, we gotta play 20 Murlocs, that's gonna be easy, and defeat 3 Monster Hunt bosses, that's gonna be easy. Almost certainly in this third recording, we're not going to, we're gonna have to play some extra. So let's try to play ranked, try to get up higher, and get through all this meeting. Starting with the first bit of news, TechRaptor has a updated Sony pre-E3 Day 3 announcement of a game called Twin Mirror for the PlayStation 4. Let's see. What kind of game this is. It's a Bandai Namco game. Let's see if we can get look at the trailer at least and see if we have a clue. This could be something as simplistic as, oh yes, this is the Don't Nod game. So Don't Nod, makers of Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm, and then they've just a couple days ago released the game Vampire, VAMPYR. They have now announced Twin Mirror, which certainly is, I guess, the right way to do that. You don't want to eat your own lunch by announcing the next game before you've released the current one, but also generally you don't announce the next game like a week later either. Most people for the most part are liking Vampire. It's a little clunky and a little not super smooth, and it's weird that they went from Life is Strange to Vampire, and now this next game is, I think, heavily inspired by Twin Peaks type murder mystery game. Frankly, I think it is exactly Twin Peaks, or if not very heavily inspired by it. So yeah, I've been talking about how E3 is just more and more going to stop being the important thing that it pretends to be now. This is a great example of a game that, in an announcement that could have been put out a long time from now, much closer to its release. There's no good reason for them for Don't Nod to announce the game now, other than the fact that PlayStation 4 or Sony and makers of PlayStation 4 is wanting / demanding it to happen. That they need some kind of an announcement to have something to say. And they're frankly saying that they have so many announcements that they can go ahead and put announcements before announcements. They're trying to own the narrative of all of E3, and we'll see how well that works. There's a game on Steam called Love Story: The Way Home. It's a hidden object game from our friends Big Fish Games. I want to make it clear, I would never suggest that Big Fish Games not be allowed to sell its games on Steam, but they are pretty repetitive and they definitely do flood the market. Hidden object games that are generally, this one's $9.99. Yeah, they're generally $10 to start with, and rather expensive products for not a lot of bang for your buck. However, I could also imagine that there are some old people out there that love hidden object games for their simplisticness and their slow gameplay pace. You don't have to specifically mash buttons on a controller is victory. Let's keep playing. I've run into a patch of duplicates. I'm still working on that. PC Gamer has an article. This PC is the size of a credit card. This is probably a kangaroo computer, because I noticed there was a kangaroo computer that was pretty small.
Your soul shall be mine.
No, this is the Pico PI225GK from Zotac. I don't know how good that computer is going to be at that size. Even the Raspberry Pi suffers from pretty poor performance because of its size and thermal needs. But on the other hand, these little computers make sense if you just need to give a computer to some employee who's supposed to check an email, go to a browser, and do nothing else, and you want to save money. Like this one is a 1.1 gigahertz dual-core Intel N4000 processor, which can turbo up to 2.6 gigahertz. 4 gigabytes of RAM is in there and 30 gigabytes of memory, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a card reader built in. It runs off micro USB for power. It's an interesting idea, particularly if you're in an industry where you have to like maintain data. That is probably that is a smaller than a hard drive size computer. You could take the entire computer and just maintain the whole thing, and one assumes that the price on these are going to be pretty low, although there probably is still a pretty big premium for getting it that small. Moving on, that's really not something I needed to talk about since I'm working on trying to get through news of a game called Inca Marvels on Steam. It is a ripoff of the game Zumba, I believe is the name of it. Let's see. So, like, I don't know why you would want to play a ripoff version of a game you could already get on Steam. It's probably not going to be better. The graphics don't look any better. It's from a developer who seems to, for the most part, make, what would you call them? Very simplistic games. Low effort games. I guess I'm kind of retiring the phrase extremely low effort games. I guess I'll use it, but it no longer in my head holds any authority that I want, as if I want these extremely low effort games taken off of Valve. I've slightly changed my tune and decided that it's just better to leave them, even if they are bad games. Just leave them for posterity. It doesn't matter. Outfit 7 is looking for a senior VFX artist. I think I already talked about that. I'll throw it out there again as a job. Let's see. Here we have a game called Kill Him Online Wars that is another Daisy Unturned kind of asset flip, voxel based type game. 20% off for $3.19. No reviews. Let's do this. Okay. Take this guy out. the end did come. This claims to have online battling. I don't trust it, frankly. The only other game this developer has made is called Zombie Wars Invasion, which is mixed reviews. This game has 84% of 13 user reviews positive. But this certainly isn't a game that interests me at all. It's just a voxel asset flip game as far as I'm concerned. So moving on and keep on playing. And keep on playing. Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. Indivisible summons its heroes to prepare for E3's attack. Skull Girls developer Lab Zero has proven their skills with the upcoming action RPG Indivisible. Apparently this is just a trailer for this new game Indivisible, which is an action RPG with some platforming too, which I guess I don't think this is the game I've seen before. There was a game where you were like a genie or something.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Maybe this is that game. It's been in development for quite a while, if this is the game I'm thinking about. I would like to see Indivisible when it's finished, but right now watching a trailer for a game that I don't think has a release date, doesn't have a Steam thing. Okay, it does have a Steam page. Also, they're pointing out, because this is a Rock Paper Shotgun advertisement basically, that you can get Valkyrie Profile, another game made by them on Android. So yeah, I'll double check and make sure Indivisible is wishlisted so I can keep an eye on it. Slightly interesting turn of events. Gamma Sutra has an article. With Tencent's help, J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Company opens a new game studio. We've seen more and more of this happen, and this is probably also in cooperation, I think, with WB, Warner Brothers. Yeah, there's a minority investment from Warner Brothers Interactive. There's Bad Robot Games, which I'm not sure which, if any of their properties would make for a good video game. When I think on that level. Yeah. You're gonna make a new Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Angel game? I don't think so. Bad Robot has a few other TV shows. Notably, Bad Robot Games is being pitched as an outfit that will partner with established developers to create games for mobile, PC, and consoles. So they're going to work with other developers to create either new games or spin-offs license of their current games. And what Bad Robot is adding to the mix is artists, writers, and animators, etc. Which that might be good, frankly. But it also inherently puts artists, writers, and animators who are working for TV to now work instead for the gaming industry, in which crunch will kill them and people will refuse to be abused. I guess right now this doesn't tell us anything other than the tinfoil hat theory that Tencent is directly under the control of the Chinese government, and this is another step in Tencent, thus the Chinese government, gaining influence and control over all of the entertainment industry, which certainly the entertainment industry is just falling heads over heels to do that and pander, and it's going to eventually come to a head and turn into a very bad outcome, I think, when they all of a sudden lose their creative freedom and become censored under Chinese law, or just under being owned by Tencent. We have a game. Let's not get into that too much though, because we don't have time. We have a game on Steam called Oval, O-V-A-L. It says it's an early access action indie. I think the early access tag as something probably needs to not just be a tag, but instead be something else. Something bigger and more obvious. Let's see. This seems like it's some kind of VR game where you're flying around and like fighting other people, but very awkwardly flying around and fighting people. Requires VR. It's selling for $21.24, with it being 15% off. This game is way too expensive. It looks alright, but it also looks like it's trying to be something like Overwatch in VR. And meanwhile, this is the only game from this developer, so I would not give it $21 to risk the chance of it being a good game. Next game we have on Steam is called Ancient Journey VR. I'm not sure if this is actually a game as much as it is just a VR tour of a museum. It seems like when you go and look at like a Japanese statue, it will take you to a Japanese scene. And so, or if you look at a Buddhist statue, it seems like it takes you to a Buddhist temple, things like that. Egyptian statue, so not just all Asian, although. Let's kill this.
Job done.
So, yeah, who knows how many actual scenes are in this game. It's selling for 20% off for $19.99. As a museum looking VR experience, it looks alright. I could see libraries and museums buying a game like this, but then you have to buy that $600 VR system. This is from a developer who hasn't made anything else, and I would have been a little bit more confident on Ancient Journey VR if they had more than one game, or at least something they'd released before this point. Like, way too many VR games coming out. Next game we have on Steam is called Hex 2.
My shield for Argon.
Which I know I played some hex-based games before, but this doesn't look like this. This looks more like a different kind of puzzle game. Single screen game. It looks alright for a puzzle game. It'll come down to, I guess, the price. $30% off for $4.89. That's pretty high. Let's do this. We gotta get rid of the 4. Let's see.
Job's done.
I'm 3 short. Oh well. And I guess Hex and Hex 2 are bundled. It's one positive review, which doesn't mean anything. I'm not sure how many more puzzle games I want in my life, and this developer has only made Hex and Hex 2. I think I will take Hex 1, and well, I guess I'll take the newest one, Hex 2, and wishlist it, and keep an eye on Hex 2, but the price is not right now. It's way too expensive, and it is a pretty big risk. The reason why I'd say a game like this is less of a risk than other games, though, is you kind of know that they're not being overly crazily ambitious. So next game we have on Steam is called Free the Animation. Free the Animation is a WebGL animation game. Animation of a roller coaster. To me, it looks like a very poor asset flip of something like an experiment. 25% off for $2.24. I wouldn't pay 60 cents for it. So let's close that. Next game we have is a game called IO Soccer. IO Soccer is a free, non-commercial, competitive, third-person online multiplayer soccer game that offers unparalleled freedom with ball control and gameplay depth. That's what it says. Let's see what it really is. It mostly looks like it's just a very simplistic looking soccer game that I'm not sure this is an asset flip. It's just like there's nothing here. There's no people in the crowds. The grass is just tiled plains of grass. There's no realistic textures on any of the characters. It's free to play, so I guess the price is right, but there's probably some microtransactions or something in there. And if I'm gonna play a soccer game, my rule on soccer games is if I'm ever gonna get into soccer, I need to probably play a FIFA game.
Mind if I roll knee?
There's definitely an issue with too many soccer games on Steam. IO Soccer, by the way, first game from this developer. So, first game you make is not original or imaginative in any way. Next game we have is a game called Acid Spy, which is an indie action stealth and first-person parkour cyberpunk game. This does kind of have the feel of Super Hot, and so I don't feel like it's completely fair to say, well, the game is way too black. It is certainly suffering from dark screenshot syndrome, and it certainly seems like it is not putting a lot of detail in a lot of its animations. This probably could be the next Super Hot if it's a good game. It's 10% off, $12.59. Let's see, there's 3 positive reviews, no negative ones. And play this. And attack these. There are combat arenas. There's like no story here, and I think that kills it for me. And I think that would probably kill it for a lot of people, is that this game is single player only, but there's no story, so you're just running around these combat arenas fighting robots and doing a lot of jumping and platforming, and like this looks like a game that might be pretty fun to watch somebody speedrun in one of the speedrun competitions, but it's not actually a game that I think people would really want to play. And it's from the developer Acid Spy Games, so you name your first game the same name as your company. That's always a bad idea, and it just shows a lack of thinking ahead of time. Moving forward, PC Gamer has an article. Dead or Alive 6 has been announced for PC, due out in 2019. It's good to know. I'm not sure if any of the other Dead or Alive games have come out to PC, but I kind of had the feeling that the official Dead or Alive games were going to come out to PC going forward. I don't... the thing here, of course, is the DOA beach volleyball games are never coming to the West at this rate. Although, it would be very interesting to see it might be rather interesting to see how the Japanese market responds to Steam's recent announcement of not censoring things. We may see a very large influx of Japanese developers that say, now we feel confident to release our games on Steam, and that would be kind of cool. Because there definitely are some games that are not coming to the West because of people complaining and people trying to de facto censor the games. PC Gamer's article does say DOA 5 last round PC variant was a bit of a disaster when it launched in 2015. So it seems like this is mostly, I think, Koei Tecmo's new commitment to doing better, which is something we hear way too often in the video game industry, is we'll do better. But hopefully they do actually do better. We already talked about Twin Mirror. In a weird way, Twin Mirror feels like it is probably a better Life is Strange for the developers Don't Nod than Life is Strange was. And so it becomes even more questionable as why did their breakout hit Life is Strange involve an American teenage girl when the developers at Don't Nod are two Canadian men who really don't have any reference there. Let's see, I don't know. I guess we'll play this. PC Gamer said Blizzard walks back Hearthstone update following fan backlash update. The unofficial nerf to test Greyman was reverted and affected it. We already read their forum here. The update is to say that they put the unchanged Test Greymane. Let's see if I can read Test Greymane to know what her battlecry actually was, why it was so important to that. Let's see. Lioness Sun Sorrow. For comparison, was a battlecry: cast each spell cast on your minions this game on this one. So that battlecry will be limited to 30. Still don't really know what Tess Greymane's, like, what was her battlecry? Let's see, I'm gonna have to just Google Tess Greymane. Let's see. And zoom in on a picture. Test Greymane. Battlecry. Replay every card from another class you played this game. Targets chosen randomly. Okay, I can see how that could get crazy and long. Let's see.
From the void I come.
Excuse me. Talking a little too long. I'm not sure how much talking I'm really gonna do tomorrow starting with E3. I think a lot of it's just gonna be quiet. Very possibly a lot of it's gonna be with me not even in the room. Next game we have on Steam is called Force Tanks. It looks like MS Paint level graphics with a very ugly brown dirt tile from a top-down screen. 40% off at $1.19. I don't think we need to say anything more about that game. 2 damage to damage. Enemy. Increase the attack. Do that much. To that. Do that much. To that. Attack here. Okay. Let's see. Next game is a game called Baconur Space. BAIKONUR Space. It's again MS Paint level graphics. It's 15% off for 84 cents. And I don't think I need to say anything more about that. Still a large amount of games coming out on Steam every couple days that are bad quality. Let's see. One wisp. PC Gamer has an article. Telltale's The Walking Dead final season release date is set. It's coming out August 14th.
Here, there is no light.
So I'm either 1 or 2 seasons at this point behind. Gamatsu has an article. Pool Panic launches July 19th. What kind of game is Pool Panic?
Come on.
It's animated very weird. It says it's an E10 plus crude humor. It seems like there's a bunch of different colored balls on the beach, and they have faces and they have legs. But oh, they're pool balls. And a Q appeared and knocked this pool ball, this white pool ball, towards other pool balls and down a hole in the sand. So it seems like it's a got a pool game. Let's see. Might as well play cards here. It's apparently an Adult Swim game and it's coming out for the Switch, according to the tags. Yeah, PC via Steam and Switch. So there might be a way I can find the Steam Pool Panic, the world's least realistic pool simulator. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out on it. It does look like it's a crazy game. Put it in the wish list. Once the Steam summer sale happens, I'll probably go through the wish list and de-wish list a bunch of things. Next game we have is called Scheming Through the Zombie Apocalypse, The Beginning. It says it's an adventure. See, I don't see any reason to ever play as anybody but the tracker. Like, I don't think I want to play as the Houseman or the Time Tanker or anything. So skimming through a zombie apocalypse at the beginning. Adventure, atmosphere, comedy, zombies, funny. I'm seeing a lot of text. I'm not sure what the game actually is though. There's one menu and then there's a map. And then it seems like you're walking around a lot. It seems almost like a point and click adventure type experience. It's 10% off for $4.49, and I might be willing to give this one a try. Let's see. You're bargaining and scavenging for loot to survive.
One shot, one kill.
So it's a survival kind of sim game. There's only positive reviews, but not very many of them right now. The animation is kind of a cartoony style, but it shows an actual skill. This is the second game from this developer. The first one is called Puzzle Chambers, which is apparently escape the room puzzles or something. No, I think I'll try. I'll wishlist both. I'm gonna feeling a little generous today. I'm gonna wishlist that one and wishlist skimming through the zombie apocalypse, the beginning. I don't particularly like games that have the beginning in front of them, however, because that typically is a complete and total admittance that they're going to try and sell another version of the game. Let's see, we already talked about that. Next game we have is a game called Deflection Dimension. Early access, indie adventure 2D. Has a trailer in it, which in itself that means something. It kind of looks like a Binding of Isaac game, except for the fact that you only can deflect, and it has random generated dungeons, and apparently it has puzzles too with pickups.
Talk about a nice
And bosses. See, a game like this could be the next Binding of Isaac. It's $6.99, or it could be nothing. And I guess I'm gonna have to watch this one, wishlist this one, just to keep an eye on it. It's the first game from this developer, but I'm feeling generous. So far, feeling generous today, so that one's gonna get wishlisted also. Right.
I'll give it a shot.
everything.
Job's done.
TechRaptor has an article, Coverage Club, Cute Before the Storm. I think this article is games that came out this week, and that's all it is. So they're talking about a game called Fatal 12, which does this. Does this have a link? Because it kind of looks like a visual novel type thing. Yeah. So, and then they're talking about the game Chuckle, which that was a while ago. And that's all they're covering. I guess if you're gonna do one of these pre-E3 articles, the good thing you can do here is keep it pretty limited and this is kind of just a recap. Let's keep playing here. Recap of just two things. PC Gamer, on the other hand, has PC Gamer has released articles like this where it was 6 or 7 things that only had one paragraph, and just one screenshot, one paragraph. So I'm not really trying to do anything other than put affiliate links on the website so that they could make more money through affiliate links, and not informing the customer, and thus not really helping the customer in any way. Let's see, do I want this one or this one? Let's just take that one and just move forward. So yeah, Fatal 12 on Steam is very positive. 94% of 17 user reviews in the last 30 days, and 97% of 48 user reviews from its lifetime of March 30th, 2016. So these visual novels, particularly the ones not tagged with sexual content like this one, don't seem like they get too much as far as reveals. And as I understand it, or as I was reading, it seems like Fatal 12 revolves around stopping people from dying. It is a visual novel though, so it has 31 Steam achievements. It's 1999. Let's play Hearthstone while we're also doing all this. Let's see what... There's only like 3 negative reviews to 60. Like only one of the negative reviews is even in English. So I can't really agree with one English negative review versus 60 positive ones. So I'm feeling generous. I'll put Fatal 12 on my wish list, but I do have to admit I am going to have to consider moving all the visual novels on my wish list to the follow list, because I'm not sure I'd ever actually cover them or play them. I can go as far as point and click adventures, that makes sense, but I really can't spend the whole time of gameplay reading out things, and none of those visual novels are ever voice acted. Let's see, let's double check. Yeah, full audio in Japanese, subtitles in English. So if I could become hugely fluent in Japanese and understand what they were saying completely, that would certainly help things, but that's not likely to happen. There's a game, it's not out yet, called God's Trigger on Steam. That's like a top-down, gory action twin-stick shooter. And who's it made by? A developer called One More Level, and it's being published by Techland. And so the developer has only made one other game called Crime Secrets Crimson Lily, which is rated positive. What kind of game is this? A hidden object game. Interesting. Hidden object point and click game. So the developers certainly are stretching beyond what they've done in the past a little bit. The reason why this is getting any publication or interest is definitely because of Techland. Techland making Dying Light, the makers of Dying Light. If they're publishing something else, they're putting their name behind it somewhat as far as the quality of this game, and it looks like God's Trigger might be a good, interesting game. It sounds like what you would have, like God Eater, the Japanese game, but it probably is a Western. And let's click on Techland Publishing just to double check. Yeah, Dying Light Enhanced Edition. Which Dying Light, I wonder, do I have in my wish list? I hope it's the best edition. So, I'll wish list God's Trigger, but frankly, it's it's a game that I shouldn't wish list or shouldn't do anything with it right now until it's actually available. Because that is consistently becoming an issue of games trying to get me hyped before they even have a release date or a chance of getting reviews. That being said, I guess me wishlisting a game the day it came out and it doesn't have any reviews anyways doesn't change too much. It just tells me that the game actually came out, which is fine. That is a very valid metric to use and look at. Game & Sutra has an article. Facebook launches a new program for gaming streamers just starting out. Facebook announced that a launch of its Level Up program today, which is designed to help new and aspiring streamers foster a live streaming community as its platform. The new initiative builds upon the Gaming's Creator program Facebook introduced back in January. Okay, I don't know about any of this. And we shall see what this is. Inherently, I don't think I could ever trust Facebook to stream on because Facebook just lets people steal your content and does nothing. That's all I ever hear, and I think that's what I believe. Like, nobody I know of streams on Facebook. And I don't watch anything on Facebook as far as video. Let's see. A live streaming server, monetization server generally geared toward gaming streamers. The Level Up program is geared towards those who are just beginning to build their communities and is slated to provide creators with resources and tools to create communities and earn money for their work. I might go to Facebook, frankly, if it was like, you can start earning money right now. A notable addition for monetization is the addition of the Facebook Stars, a feature that allows fans to support streamers through purchasing and sending virtual gifts during live streams, so like Twitch Bits. To help the creators' visibility, Facebook is also testing a new page specifically for gaming videos that aggregates live and pre-recorded gaming videos on the platform. So they're trying to make a gaming YouTube channel. Gaming.youtube.com basically. Those who are interested in more information about the program, including eligibility requirements, can check the Gaming Creator Portal site portal here. Although there's no mention of when the program will be available for all streamers using the Gaming Creator program already, it seems though Facebook will be revealing more details during E3 this week. And let's see. So create your page, give your page a name, press continue. Step 2, OBS. Set OBS up. Create a scene with OBS. Yeah. Let's see. Live stream games. Think I could do all of that right now. Let's see. Give your page a name. Press continue. Nothing here seems to explain anything though. Like, there's no way here that says how do I get my money? How do I control running ads? Are ads going to run right now, or do I have to do something else? The blog portal that they just linked me to tells me nothing at all. What a waste of time.
Job's done.
What a waste of time. Let's see. Zenkai Zero Last Beginning DLC swimsuit costume screenshots are available
Drink
on
deeply.
Gematsu.
Go on.
The swimsuits costing a decent amount of well, $3 or $4 each. Let's see, and as I'm gonna quickly go through the gallery, it seems like for the most part there's both male and female characters in Zenkai Zero and Last Beginning, which I don't know what this game is. So you're getting guys in swimsuits and girls in swimsuits, and one of the girls has a robotic arm. If you're into having girls with robotic arms. Zenkai Zero is due out for the PS4 and Vita July 5th in Japan, and it's planned to be released on the PS4 and PC in North America and Europe, but the release date has yet been announced. So let's double scroll back up and see if we have any better explanation of what the game is. Nope. That's a trap and a waste of time, certainly, as far as Japanese games, to look at their swimsuit DLC, because you really have no clue what kind of game it is. It could be a visual novel, it could be something completely different. Gematsu has an article. Lenoda for Switch launches June 14th in North America, June 20th in Europe. What is this game? It's a rhythmic musical game unlike any other. The unique gameplay in Lenoda, that's L-A-N-O-T-A. Has a slightly interesting art style to it. Let's do that. And win. Kind of has a attempts to look something like a Studio Ghibli art style in the cutscenes, but the actual game seems to just be a circle that you're trying to do some kind of musical attack on a circle inside of another circle. Like, that is another trap of Japanese games, is that they sure do know how to make it a very simplistic, probably boring game look pretty enough to sell when it really shouldn't. So we're done here. Let's go back here. We got the card back. Let's open it. Come on, legendaries. 5 golds. 4 golds. 3 golds. 2 golds. 1 gold. Only 1 gold. 1 gold is still exactly what I would want. Legendary. Nate Pagel. So, an interesting point is we're on our main account, and the rest of these will be just dust. Apparently I had 2 packs, because I have like 7 common cards. They're getting dusted. So if I look up the missing tag, and then come over to the classic cards, we are gotta go in crafting mode. We're missing one 1600 dust legendary here, one legendary here, and 1, 2, 3 legendary here. So we are almost all the way there as far as the classic packs are done. We don't need any of that. Which is fun, interesting, because we're going to log in and get a golden classic pack, and it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense on one hand to not keep those goldens. But on the other hand, if I look at just all the missing cards in general, there's quite a collection of epics and probably not too many rare cards around as far as standard cards. We're still nowhere close to having a full collection of anything. I could see maybe in the next expansion we spend a lot of dust just to get rid of all the blues and get down to just a complete collection of common cards. But I don't even know if that's helping me the best way. Maybe I will use HS Replay a second time, and since I have like 800 dust right now, maybe it can tell me, make this card. This card's very valuable. More than likely, it would tell me to create this card, as that probably is a super valuable card to have a copy of. Then the other thing to consider is, what am I missing in general as far as not just standard cards but wild cards, because there's a lot there. And I do want the wild cards. I do one day want to have at least one of every card, but we're 50 pages in. 50 times 4, 200 card styles or types that I'm missing. That is a good thing to know, I guess. Let's keep on playing though. We've got more to do. I guess I'll just play Murloc. Seems like that's probably the best thing. Murloc ranked. Game Master has an article, Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom E3 2018 trailer. Monster Boy, is he part of a series, or am I thinking of a different game? It seems like he's probably new. Let's see. Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom is due out digitally for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC this summer. A physical edition of the PS4 and Switch version will be playable will also be released. It's going to be at E3. Based on Wonder Boy and the Dragon Trap. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, is Wonder Boy. So Monster Boy is some kind of continuation or spiritual successor to that. This is a game that doesn't have a Steam account or anything right now, so there's like a lot of E3 announcements or pre-announcements of games that don't have links on them, so I don't need to do anything with them.
Hello.
Here we've got a game called Endless Road on Steam. It says it's an early access strategy adventure RPG. It looks a lot like Don't Starve, and it's from a Chinese company, and it's in English and simplified Chinese. It's $9.99 in early access. The only thing I could see here is that it seems like there's a rather complicated number system in this. Like, rather complicated scoring fighting system that I just don't fully understand. yeah, I don't know if I want to dismiss this game because I think it's a incredibly dense, inaccessible game that would only make sense in probably its original Chinese, or if I want to dismiss this because it's a Don't Starve ripoff that is probably a cheap Chinese ripoff. It's the only game from this developer too for $9.99, and there's no discount going on, so should have killed this. I forgot I was playing against a mage. Endless Road doesn't look interesting enough. Let's close that. Next game we have on Steam is called Cave Adventures. And it's some kind of play as a scorpion platformer that's trying to get to a fountain. And the graphics don't look very good. It's 99 cents. The idea of playing as a 3D scorpion in some game is kind of an appealing idea. Certainly, but I'm not sure I definitely wouldn't want to play a pixel art 2D scorpion. This looks like it's half platforming, half endless runner. It's for 99 cents, no reviews of course. Scroll back up and we'll see that this is the... No, this is not a game. This is one of the people that are flooding Steam with kind of bad games, but I'm not sure they are going far enough to call them troll games. So it'll be interesting to see if this developer gets kicked off
I wonder.
at any time. Same developer has a game called World of Tea, which I had a very interesting thought about how much fluid commodities have affected the world. The desire for tea causing the British Empire, the desire to sell alcohol without being taxed causing the American Revolution, the desire for coffee causing Starbucks to be a super powerful corporation, super large corporation. Starbucks just recently raised its prices in most of its locations. Oil certainly has caused many a war. So if you want to invest in anything, I think in the extremely long run, fluid commodities are where it's at. As for this game, World of Tea, it's the same developer with just very low effort games, not worth mentioning. PC Gamer had an article, Steam's new anything goes policy is doomed from the start. Valve is responsible for the games published on Steam, even if it says it isn't. I think that's BS. They are not really responsible in any other way in the United States than PC Gamer is responsible for the ads it sells on its own site. And how many of us have been on websites that it's just random ads, and hate to defend people like Walmart, but frankly Walmart's not really responsible either if they have a product, a food product, and it turns out it has something like listeria in it. That's the creators of the product. Valve is just a storefront. And we've all been to stores that sell low quality products. We've all been to stores that sell something we don't want. There definitely feels like there are different extremes even within PC Gamer of who wants to write an article completely saying Valve should be censoring games versus people working at PC Gamer who don't seem like they're that passionate about it. Certainly many other cites the editor-in-chief or the editor, or they're just small groups. They kind of all are on the same page, and so every single article has been pro-censorship articles. There's been a much higher backlash than I thought there would be. I thought they would just go, alright, well, whatever, we'll just push the game designers to not create these games, which they already are doing, and SJWs are definitely pushing game designers to not do anything offensive, except for in the one instance where they wanted Far Cry 5 to be offensive against conservative people, since SJWs are extreme leftists.
Thrall versus Rexa.
Leftists or progressives.
For Doomhammer.
But that is getting into a rant that I don't have time for. So we have a game on Steam called One Wish. It says it's an adventure indie nudity horror. There's like this creature all in shadow with red tentacles behind it. It says the game's suffering from dark screenshot syndrome, and it's a little bit of an asset flip. Like everything in here looks like it's probably an asset flips now, including a lot of games that still very much look good. Doesn't show me much gameplay or anything in the screenshot. This is a game that's in English with Russian subtitles. It's 5% off for 94 cents. Let's see. First review is not recommended, less than an hour played. It says very forgetful game with about as dull gameplay as it gets. The puzzles are extremely simple and no challenge. The only good thing about this game is that it's short, 20 to 30 minutes, and delivers a strong important message about life in the end. So yeah, One Wish, I guess, is one. It's from a developer who has every other game in their collection rated mixed or negative, and frankly all of them are negative except for one that's rated mixed. So yeah, again, not a troll developer, just a bad developer. Let's see, we already talked about that article. Here we have a game called Harmony of the Bravest that's tagged as an RPG Maker game. It's 30% off for $5.59, and RPG Maker strategy is to not play any of those games. It's the only game from this developer. Moving on. Let's see how we want to do this.
What to do?
That. And do that. And attack here. Next game we have is called School Days, SKOOL space DAZE, Reschooled RESKOOLED. So everything is misspelled. This is the action adventure indie casual is what it's calling it. I don't know what kind of game this is, but it doesn't, the graphics don't look good enough. Frankly, it's a little too pixely. Like, what's the description here? This. And this. And the tag. Smash hit game School Days has returned with all characters and tricks as the original. Be Eric the hero, crack codes, fire catapults, hypnotize teachers, trap rats and frogs, complete the tasks and don't get over 10,000 lines and get expelled. So it's kind of like a cause mayhem at school simulator. Kind of like Bully, but flattened 2 days. Flattened. Like, apparently it's a re-release of a ZX Spectrum game called School Days.
I wonder.
Let's play that.
Job done.
Astounding.
It's apparently this is an alternative to the mobile devices, or no, the review is saying, I'm glad this came to PC instead of mobile devices. I'm somewhat disappointed in the port. In this version, the fixed key mapping is offered, and I prefer to define my own keys. I want to get as close to the original experience. Next not recommended review says, okay, this game I loved on the ZX Spectrum. I have to agree with the previous reviews. The current control scheme feels alien. This can be great, but defining keys, or at least options of the original key mapping, would help somewhat. It's like 3 not recommended review for this game. And since I don't have any nostalgia for the ZX Spectrum, like, for me, the game just looks like garbage.
Job done.
And this is from a developer who mostly makes rugby games that are mixed in reviews. Like, Rugby League Team Manager 2018 is the only positive reviewed game they even have. Moving on. PC Gamer has an article. A New Jersey bill proposes a ban on some esports betting. The legislation would define esports and competitive gambling as prohibited sports events. Is that a big problem, or is that a little problem? There's certainly interesting. I didn't realize I could get amalgam as one of the potential cards. Let's see, let's kill that. And then kill that. And then play that. There. So yeah, it's a little early to talk about an article or write an article about a bill for a PC Gamer. I mean, this is real news, and talking about bills before they get passed is also very much real news, and it would help inform people in New Jersey to contact their local congressmen and representatives. But since PC Gamer is kind of more of a world-facing like website, it kind of is a little weird, because we're gonna get into a weird scenario where every single bill that ever happens that slightly involves video games might get reported, although arguably maybe that is the only bill that's come up. And of course we're gonna have to decide whether we want betting on esports or not, and put some regulation on that if we're going to regulate gambling at all, because clearly that is gambling. There's a game on Steam called MotoGP 18. It's mixed with 59% of 47 reviews. It's from, let's see, a developer who made Ride 2, Gravel. A lot of these sound like racing games, but when I look at everything they've made, they have nearly as many mixed reviews as they do positive reviews. The graphics on this look fine in the intro trailer. It seems like you can race on motorcycles only in this game. It's not cars. I don't know if I really want to play a motorcycle game on top of a car game. I don't know if I really find much of a difference there as somebody who really doesn't care about riding in cars or motorcycles. This game, MotoGP 18, is $49.99 and has mixed reviews. His first not recommended review I see says could have been so much more. You can't rebind some of the controls. Next not recommended review says, so far I'm not impressed with the new Unreal Engine. The game is very blurry and undefined in resolution, even at ultra settings. Is that possibly evidence of a bigger issue? I kind of wonder about that. Maybe the Unreal Engine 4 is just not up to snuff. Next not recommended review says, well, short and clear, don't buy this game. It's a disappointment just like it was last 5 years. So it seems like there's been a history of MotoGP series games that are just not satisfying the market. Here we have a game called Sapper Boom, which is like a match 3 game with bombs. It's like a one-screen game, and it's the second game from this developer. It's a one-screen match 3 game. It doesn't look very special. It doesn't look like it would have any special gameplay features or anything. It's 30% off for 69 cents, and I don't think it's worth that much. Here, the not recommended review says, Sapper Boom is baby's first match 3 game enclosed in a visual novel shell without actually having anything to do with a visual novel. Yeah, that's an interesting twist. Certainly. I was not expecting a visual novel shell in that game. Moving on. Next game we have is a game called Feather of Praying. Let me just double check to make sure it's in English. Nope, it's only in simplified Chinese. So this would have been an RPG with a female protagonist in the action adventure horror, not action adventure, and it looks like an RPG Maker game. I don't know why they would use a English name if they're not going to release it in English.
Job done.
We've got a few Google Spotlight stories that came out and that are actually made by Google. That is little VR videos that they're putting out for free, but they require VR. So Google Spotlight Stories Piggy. If you want that to watch that, that's fine. Google Spotlight Stories on Ice. Watch that if you want to. They're probably only about 5 minutes long. Gamasutra has an article. Ubisoft CEO says there will be one more console generation after that. We will be streaming. I don't believe so. I don't think we're gonna have the internet speed to stream ever, or at least not in one more generation. It would benefit Ubisoft to not have to release on consoles and just stream everything through some kind of Uplay like service where they don't have to pay any give any cuts to anybody like Valve or Microsoft or Sony, and just take 100% of the sales. But that's just not going to happen. Next game we have on Steam is called Club Dance Party VR, and it's an early access casual music rhythm game. Let me skip ahead in this and see what this is really looks like. So we've seen some dance games, and this looks like this might just be a port of a PlayStation VR dance game, or a very similar game to one of that. There's circles where you're supposed to place your hands. A considerable amount of what you're doing, however, as the player character, is not getting registered in the VR. Only what your hands are. So you could stand probably perfectly still and not actually dance. But of course in the trailer you're seeing people, actors dancing all over the place. Also in the club dance part thing, you're looking at what seems to be almost exclusively a bevy of slightly scantily clad women. Yeah, I'm not seeing any men that you can dance with, and so you're looking at some other girl that's dancing. You're not looking at yourself. This is 20% off for $11.99. Let's see if we could get some more details on it.
What to do?
There's no real numbers here on how many women there are that you can dance with, or it doesn't seem like it goes anywhere, so it's just the dancing part. Let's see. The first review I see is not recommended, and it goes, "Oh my god, another great idea, very poorly implemented. I could just say don't bother, and you can trust me on that." Let's see. Then it goes on for at least 8 more sentences, points, saying that the game, reasons why the game sucks. I'm not surprised. If you want to dance, dance. Even if you're alone and can't go out to a club or dance, just dance. Dance in your own house. Dance in your own room. You don't need a $600 VR headset to look at cartoon girls to dance with them. Use your imagination, people. Once in a while. Let's see. We're trying to get all the news done, as we're about 24 minutes over. Very typical at this point. It seems very consistent that I'm always an hour over. Gematsu has an article. Spike Chunsoft announces Anime Expo 2018 plans. So that is the Steins Gate people. For the visual novel Steins Gates are going to be in the Anime Expo 2018. That's where the video game tie-in happens there. We can move on from that. Already read that article. TechRaptor has an article. Open world survival game Memories of Mars, now available on early access on Steam. So I think I've already looked at this game. Yeah, and it's like mixed at 56% of 256 user reviews. So people are not having a fun time with it, and it's only online multiplayer, so it's not a game I would play anyways. I think we already talked about the RPG Maker game Harmony of the Bravest, so we don't need to talk about that again. Yeah, we already talked about that, so I've hit a point where tabs were open twice. I swear I'm gonna fix that. I swear I'm gonna get the plugin to actually work and stop duplicate things. PC Gamer has an article from 2 days ago. Dungeons & Dragons has a peppy new trailer, announces upcoming adventures for D&D Beyond. Dungeons & Dragons is... This animation is pretty interesting. Its cartoon animation style. Like, can you really even now convince parents to let their kids play Dungeons and Dragons if they're actually against it? Almost certainly way fewer parents will have that moral panic against Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't think opinions are gonna change much. I think, frankly, just people who would have been against it have now died out, and their kids have had kids. Apparently, D&D has to be played through its own website, because I'm not seeing any indication of this being a Steam link. Honestly, no, actually, this doesn't have anything to do with video games, does it? This is because PC Gamer decided to start covering... I wonder... They decided to start covering board games, and they just... D&D apparently just does visual announcements of board games. Adventures. Yep, so... That was a waste of time. I would not be upset with Dungeons & Dragons coming out with a Steam game. It certainly would help. Although, arguably, Tabletop Simulator, for the most part, could probably handle D&D. It'd be clunky. TechRaptor has an article, Agony Cut content to be restored in a new game called Agony Unrated. I don't think very many people are going to feel much different about Agony for the people who actually played the game, because I don't think the missing content is the problem, it's the missing gameplay and the bad voice acting and the bad gameplay. So this feels like they might try to double dip and sell Agony Uncut a second time and see how many people will buy that. In the end, Agony is just not a good game. I don't think it ever will be. Interesting that Scorn is still out there and in development, and we have to remember Scorn looks so much like Agony that you could easily be like miscategorize it as the same game. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this. And hit that. I'll play that.
Job's done.
Gamasutra has an article, itch.io founder brands Valve's open door policy is ridiculous. It kind of doesn't really matter what the founder of itch.io, Leif Cochran, has to say, because he's a competitor, so he's going to, of course, try to put that subtle dig and slam Steam. Steam by far is much more successful than itch.io is, and honestly itch.io probably has a bunch of ridiculously offensive content on their shelves and they just don't even know about it, if I was to guess. But if you're a big fan of itch.io, I suppose you take from this that to know that he thinks the policy is ridiculous and he is so pro censorship that he will definitely censor games on itch.io. Apparently, though, he won't censor them from content. The quote is, "Please keep your malicious, derogatory, discriminatory, bullying, harassing, demeaning content off itch.io. Our ban buttons are ready." That is a mouthful, and that is kind of a thing that the professionally outraged do, is they ban everything together. It's possible that you might make a game that's malicious and put it on itch.io and ban it for that, but that doesn't mean it is also, on top of being malicious, derogatory, discriminatory, bullying, harassing, demeaning, or demeaning. And frankly, those three words are kind of synonyms. Like, you might put a derogatory game out there, it's kind of a synonym for demeaning. You might put a discriminatory game out there, that's a synonym for harassing. You might as well just wrap it up and say offensive or rude. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of trolls start trying to put things on itch.io, but there's no money to be made there, and there's no eyes to see it, so I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, if trolls didn't do that. But like itch.io, I think has the game Don't Poop Your Pants, and that's an extremely low effort, kind of funny for 30 seconds game. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article, mail.ru, which wouldn't that be a Russian domain? The Russian site? I don't know. They call it a European tech company, mail.ru. Has partnered with Unity Technology with the specific goal of investing in developers working on projects made with the Unity game engine. The company hasn't offered much in the way of actual funding details, however. Okay. So, that's one of those Gamasutra business stories. PC Gamer has an article, Hitman 2 announced for November. The big question right now is, I think there was, Warner Brothers leaked their own image on their own website, and then they went live with pre-orders. The question is, if you is Hitman 2 going to be this, like Hitman 1, this year-round, ever-adding content experience, or is it going to be like a single-player game? If you pre-order it right now, you get immediate access to Hitman Sniper Assassin mode, which is like the Sniper Assassin games, the Hitman Sniper games that were before, I'm sure, although it does look like it is a better graphics. Of course, I guess I can't really buy Hitman 2 until I buy Hitman 1. So, okay, moving on. It's a little weird for IO Interactive to kind of immediately partner with a WB after just getting out from under dealing with Square Enix, but we'll see if that works any better for them. Here's a troll game we don't need to talk about. I listened to the latest Co-optional and they talked about this troll game. I'm not going to name it, but I would just say Co-optional, another one that points out really obvious troll games because they look at games early and then complain about these bad games that nobody else sees but them. Here's a game called Big Head Runner. It's an infinite runner. Graphics look a little bit better than you would expect, but it's nothing. It's just an infinite runner for 60 cents. From a developer who has a bunch of games that are actually rated kind of high. Doesn't, but I'm still not interested. Let's play this. And let's see here. Play this, I guess. We have a game on Steam called Drops: Rhythm Garden. This looks like a bunch of 3D effects that have been turned into a VR game. It's 25% off for $5.24. I see like one positive review and that's it, and I don't trust it. This does not look like a game as much as a tech demo. So I'm gonna close that. Next game we have on Steam is called Grey Dawn, which is an indie adventure psychological horror with nudity and gore. Positive 100% out of 10 reviews. But what kind of game is this? Can I figure this out without having to actually watch any of these trailers? There is an issue, certainly, with the number of how long it takes to load a trailer. Oh, yes, this is the one where you're the priest that like kills the kid or lets a kid die and in like an exorcism accident, and it's going for that like exorcist type feeling. It's 10% off for $17.99. This one I believe should already be on my wish list. It's got like 19 positive reviews and no negative ones. So maybe give it a little bit longer to... It is the first game from this developer, but it does seem to strike me as a game that... Gotta hurry. It does strike me as a game that's worth people keeping an eye on it. PC Gamer had an article that Intel's Core i7-8086K anniversary CPU gets a delidded and overclocked to 7.24 gigahertz, which is extremely high and not something that I thought would ever happen. But the Core i7-8086 processor is like a special commemorative version of the 8086 original processor that were in PCs, and it already could get up to 5 gigahertz because it has like only one thread and one core, and it has none of the modern things you would expect in a CPU, I would imagine. Things like let's see, DX or not DX. I don't even know what they used to be called. There's a whole bunch of extra instructions that the CPUs have nowadays, and I assume this one doesn't. This would be really ridiculous for anybody to really buy those i7-8086 CPUs. I don't think they would be fast or useful in anything, and they're not going to be power efficient either. You'd be better off using an ARM processor or a regular processor. Let's see, the same article got opened 3 or 4 times. Let's play one more game and see if we can get this. Let's see. We have a game on Steam called Suicide Guy Sleeping Deeply. It says it's an action adventure indie. What is it really? It's weird I have to say that every time. It's like it says it's this, but what is it really?
For Doomhammer.
Well, the graphics look good. They're a little disjointed in theme. It's apparently this is the sequel to a game called Suicide Guy, which is a weird name, but I think it's a real game. This developer's made a decent number of games, some of which a good number of them are positive, some of which are negative and mixed. Kind of wish I knew more about what this game is, though. Let's see. First-person action puzzle game set in a world of dreams. You assume the role of a nice big guy unable to wake up from his dream. Your task is to help him step out of them.
Incredible.
So, 3 to 4 hours of pure gameplay inside your subconsciousness, and I guess the idea is you're trying to kill yourself to wake yourself up. Alright, I'm feeling generous. This looks like it's something worth keeping an eye on, so I'll wishlist it. Weird name. Certainly. Next game we have on Steam is called Arevatl, 7 coins, AREVOATL, space 7 space coins. Says it's an adventure indie, and it's only in English, so what's with the rather difficult name? Seems like you walk around in a 3D environment and you're finding things and searching, kind of like a hidden object game in a 3D environment, and I'm interested in, yeah, it says there's 20 to 60 hidden items at a location. You have to find them all in order to proceed to the next location. It's a 3D hidden object game, and I've been very interested in seeing a 3D hidden object game get made. Fortunately, the only review right now says since there's no saving option, you have to start the game from the beginning every time you leave the game. Very annoying. Why not include a saving option in the menu? Very simple. I shall resume playing only if this is fixed. Okay. No time constraints. This game is $6.99, and that price is way too high. But we've seen higher, and it's the first game from this developer, but it is something I've been trying to find, so I'm going to put this on the wish list. I'm being very generous today. Let's see. Divine Shield. Let's see. We have a game called Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition Mod Organizer. Apparently, actually from Square Enix. Interesting. So it's the official mod tools for the Windows edition of Final Fantasy 15, offering new possibilities to users create data to incorporate the world into the world of Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition. I don't know why the Windows Edition is called the Windows Edition for Steam. Let's see. And there's 2 negative reviews on this free-to-play mod organizer. All it is a Square Enix tool, but I think the problem here is they did not classify it as a tool, and they classified it as a game and confused people. Let's see, we keep getting back to the same over and over again with Valve, well, no, with people being upset with Valve from taking an anti-censorship stance. So rock, paper, shotgun, the way they phrase it, Valve's abdication of responsibility over Steam is the worst possible solution. People are super, I don't like to use the phrase salty very often, but they're super salty about somebody else's decision. Heck, if you're upset about it, rock, paper, shotgun, just quit playing games on Steam. Or, you know, just do your job and quit editorializing and inserting your own opinion in something that that should be the opinions of the customers. Let's see. Moving on, Gamer Sutra has an article, seven memorable boss fights that every developer should study. This is an article I'd like to read. I'm not sure I'm ever going to have time for it. Another one of those articles that's getting released because everybody's going to E3, and so it's just a pre-written thing. There's a game called Flashing Lights Police Fire EMS on Steam. It's mixed with 67% positive of 254 reviews. Doesn't look horrible, but it doesn't look great either, and it has like online multiplayer, and I guess you're playing as either the police, the fire department, or the EMS, and you can give like parking tickets, it seems like. And put out fires. It looks like it's kind of the beginning of a game because it's in early access, but they're charging the full price. At $13.50 with 10% off, that's too expensive. Let's see. The review here says, dated graphics, bad game mechanics, hard to drive around, move, perform any action, gets repetitive in 10 minutes, no content, lifeless, zero customization. Yeah, and I imagine I would agree with all of that. Let's keep playing. We're getting there eventually. Maybe I should have broken up the recording. Activision announces its E3 2018 lineup, teases exciting announcements. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Moving on. There's a game on Steam called Robothorium Roguelike RPG. Let's see what this is. And do we have any ratings? Positive, 90% of 11 user reviews. Early looking at a lot of animation, but what does the real game look like? Looks like a lot of customization of robots, then fighting in a very bland single room, or maybe doing some RPG elements. No, there's just way too many menus. Way too many menus I'm seeing here.
There is little time.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. This game's early access for $13.49, 10% off. It has a deluxe edition for $19.96, which is 20% off. It also has a bundle. Let's see. Not recommended is the first review. Promising project, but some awkward design decisions prevent me from recommending it at this time. Then the article goes on from there.
Job's done.
So yeah, let's keep our momentum and forget Robothorium. They made some other games, this developer, that are all rated positive, so that's interesting. Next game we have on Steam is called Horns of Fear, Violent Adventure, Gore, Indie Single Player. What is this really? Man, I say that every time. That's it. And then that seems to be, for the most part, everything in the trailer is showing a scary animated imagery with a black background behind it, which screams just a lack of background animation or quality. This game is suffering from dark screenshot syndrome. It feels like it's a project done by somebody who didn't have an animator who could actually do what he wanted. So yeah, it feels like this is supposed to be a scary game. It probably isn't. It's probably just a bad game at 10% off for $4.49. Let's see. Are there any reviews? No. The only thing that would make me wanna maybe support this game is if there was another game that they had already made that was rated well, and no, they haven't. And also they've already scheduled a new game to come out, which that also tells you something, that they're already moving on to the next project. So I think I can safely close Horns of Fear. Here's a game called Astraeus, A-S-T-R-A-E-U-S. It says it's a strategy indie game. Seems like it's almost a VR game, but it isn't. You're just in like this one room and you're matching pathways in holographic planets, I think, to make paths. And apparently you're supposed to be like the navigator and connect routes. And then the trailer just showed you a chair with a skeleton in it, and I guess that was the I'm assuming this floating robot that's telling you what you're supposed to do is saying something along the lines of, this is what happened to the last guy that made a mistake. There's something interesting in the way this is being presented, and it is a VR game, but apparently VR not necessary. It's 10% off for $13.49. It's a VR asteroid mining real-time strategy game that's quick to play, easy to learn. Let's see. Yeah. I think it does require VR, it's just not labeled that way, so I'm gonna go ahead and close the stress because it's not certainly good enough for me to keep an eye out by the time I get around to owning a VR, if I ever get around to owning a VR. We're at rank 21, it might make it to rank 20 by the end of the stream. Next game we have is called Square World. It's a Terraria ripoff and just straight up early access, 15% off for $7.64. I don't think there's really anything more I need to say about that first game from this developer.
I wonder.
Here we have your gamer's response. Steam's content policy is both arrogant and cowardly. Wow. Like, the salt is real. And honestly, half of these responses I'm not even seeing. There's probably hundreds more. In a weird way, this is, like, I hate to say this is like Gamergate 2.0 because arguably Comicsgate is Gamergate 2.0, but it's a reminder that most mainstream video game media people now just do not represent video game players at all. That they have long since abandoned their charge to be critics and fairly and accurately review a game and inform people of what is out there to be available. Moving on though, I don't want to get into a rant. Gamma Sutra says 56% of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon's 100,000 week 1 sales were on the Switch, which I can get that, certainly. The Bloodstained Curse of the Moon game probably works exceedingly well for nostalgia and for being a Switch game, because I bet there's not too many other Metroidvania-esque games on the Switch. Let's see. Kill this one. I'm almost to the end. There's a game called Catch and Release, which is a sports simulation VR fishing game. I could certainly see liking that. You have a little radio that plays a little bit of music, and you fish and release. Now, depending on the fish and how you fish, there are some fish that you can catch and release them all you want, but they die from the shock or from internal bleeding anyways. A lot of catch and release is just there to make you feel better about it. Arguably, if you're just gonna follow nature's imperative, you should just eat or have something eat every fish you catch, and then it doesn't go to waste. In my head, Catch and Release is a VR only game. It's $19.99. Let's see. There's a not recommended review says there should be a neutral option, and basically this is a nice chill fishing simulator that actually put together well. The little things are here. The problem is, after you get a certain point of objectives, it just stops working. I have an objective to fish near the waterfall, collect 3 fish, and catch a certain type of fish. All of 3 of which I've done, and the objectives aren't completing, so it's pretty annoying. Wow, I didn't even think it would have objectives. So it seems like one guy's game is glitched out. So it might be a little bit buggy. I would have thought that this game would have... I guess it has achievements too. That's an interesting thing. Wow, I'm even more interested in Catch and Release now. Could have probably won here. Come to think of it. If I had played this, and maybe played that. This is the first game from this developer. I'd almost wishlist Catch and Release, but I don't have a VR. The same can be said for the game Moss, which was the PlayStation VR game. I was either going to call this year, 2018, the year of the pirate or the year of the rodent, and I went with year of the pirate. So there's several different rodent-based games, RPG adventure games, and Moss was the PlayStation VR exclusive one. Now it's available on Steam through VR. It's positive 86% positive reviews, and it's selling for $29.99. I would definitely play this game if I had VR. Unfortunately, I don't, and that kind of sucks. I was more hoping this game would come to PC and not have the VR elements. I'm not sure there actually is even a game here without the VR elements, though. And this is by Polyarc, which is the first game they've ever put on Steam, and maybe the first game they've ever made. I already talked about Titan Quest coming out to the Switch. Coming out on the Switch. Let's see. Here we go. We have a game on Steam called Ninja Midori. It's NES level graphics, pixel graphics of platforming and jumping and attacking enemies, and having. It's mostly a pretty simplistic. Don't break the streak. Keep playing. Simplistic platforming game. Actually, it's stealing some ideas directly from Super Mario Brothers. This game is $4.99. It has no reviews. I don't think I'm generous enough though to wishlist this one. This one seems too simplistic. First game from this developer. So
None can escape
let's
my
close that.
fury.
For Doomhammer.
There's a game called Math Classroom Challenge. I'm sure people will love that. Except for this also doesn't actually look like it's a actual math game. It more looks like a cheap asset flip designed to be look like a math game. You're standing one space and you're shooting numbers. And it's a VR thing. 20% off for $3.99. I seriously doubt that there are going to be VR headsets in schools. If we get to the point where VR is involved in education, we're probably going to have the kids stay at the parents' house and put on VR headsets, not take them to an actual classroom. The other game from this developer is called Math Combat Challenge, so they're doing the same gimmick, certainly. I can easily skip that. There's rumors of Escape 4 happening. I don't know if I even have any articles on that, though. Just because the Skate 3 servers have been turned back up. Skate 3 wasn't the greatest at launch, but it eventually gained a following. TechRaptor has an article updated. Bohemian Interactive teases new IP to be announced at E3. This is a teaser for a teaser for a teaser, apparently. So this is not really an article that has anything informative in it. Let's see. Play this. This. And come to think of it, since we'll be streaming all of E3, or at least we're planning on doing that, there's not a lot of reason to try and look at my Twitter, and all I really need to do is go down my Twitter and see if anything crazy has happened. If anything that needs to be announced right now instead of tomorrow during the E3 press conference. Because I'm on my Humble Bundle point. I still have a ton of pages open because of just how many things I have decided to wishlist today. So, hopefully, unless something changes, this will be our last game, and we will just break the streak, and I'll just end streaming because long time ago we did all the things we needed to do. Less than 24 hours to E3, so come back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central. That should be the time. Come back maybe a little bit earlier. Make sure you're subscribed and you've clicked the notification bell. Apparently Fallout Shelter is coming to the PS4, and that's not much news. Apparently it's my turn, so I should play. PC Gamers, this week's highs and lows of video games. I'll read that, but it's probably not going to have anything interesting. Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, retweeted an employee who said our online services team at Gearbox is expanding and you should join us. Check out our current openings. I'll open that and talk about that probably on Monday. I may not talk about news until Monday. Let's see, do I want to evolve? Yeah, evolve. Get rid of this. And do that.
Job's done.
Let's see.
Welcome to my web.
Let's keep on scrolling down Twitter. Battlefield's new reviving and squad systems could be the best thing about it, according to PC Gamer. That's something I need to read. We're still winning. We can't break the streak. Like, we gotta keep going. If this takes me all the way to rank 1 legendary, I've gotta keep playing until I lose. Let's see. From Software's cult US president in a mech suit shooter Metal Wolf Chaos might be making a return. At least that's what Digital Devolver is teasing, and frankly I don't want to take their reference for that because they only a few days ago asked people, what do you want us to announce coming back, even though we don't have the license for the game. And I think that's probably what's happening here. And all the what's on Steam things I see are old. Let's see. 6 hours ago, Full Throttle Remastered Episode 8 aired on my channel. And now we have a bunch of in case you missed it things on Steam. I wouldn't be surprised actually if there isn't too much news, just because everybody should be on a plane or in a car to E3. So it'd be pretty hard to get information, get emails, and even write up the article. And frankly, I don't think anybody's going to announce something so close to E3 unless something crazy happens. And I'll always have this nebulous if something crazy happens idea. I don't even know what crazy thing could happen, although certainly there have been some crazy things happening lately with Valve in particular. Valve and their reaction to what Valve is doing. We get a nice A/B test here where YouTube is 100% pro censorship would be my description of YouTube, and Valve has decided to be only like 10% pro censorship, I would say, because they still getting illegal and trolling things, whatever they call trolling things, off their services, which is fine. Like, inherently, for all my ranting against about being anti-censorship, there is a certain level of censorship that even I'm willing to accept when it comes to just troll games and illegal games. I guess I'll follow the law of the lands, and as an adult, I probably wouldn't play a gambling game and get addicted to it and waste thousands of dollars of money. My experience with Hearthstone is probably a great example of that, since Hearthstone is a game that certainly tries to encourage people to spend a lot of money for the cards, and I haven't done that. Like, I'm not even gonna buy this new bundle, and it's a pretty good deal. But I also recognize that there are people out there that are vulnerable, and there needs to be some kind of law. Like, I don't think we should let 2-year-olds play gambling games and run up debt on their credit card on their parents' credit cards. There's a country in Europe, I'm not sure which one, that actually forgives all the debt of anybody under a certain age because of factors like that, like, of just realizing that kids should not be burdened with debt for the rest of their life. I should have played this in between here and I would have done a little bit more damage. Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition episode 8 aired on my channel. It says 1 day ago? Wow. Am I that far back on my Twitter feed? Wow. What's on Steam might be down. Or maybe even the chancers that are garbage on Steam know not to release games. Or, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Valve also decided to not accept any Steam Direct games while E3 is going on. Or Valve is instantly implementing a new policy and looking at games, which would be alright. That's really what they should do, is institute a policy to look at the names of games and the thumbnails and the screenshots and the description of everything as it's submitted. That should have been in the $100 that they were taking for that the fee. Some of that should clearly have been going towards paying somebody's hourly salary to look at those. The win streak continues. I'm gonna actually run out of things to talk about. At a certain point, quick disconnects are going to be the only thing that would continue this win streak. Sekai Project announces console-focused initiative Sekai Games.
Throw versus Jaina.
I'd like to see the second season of Netflix's Castlevania, but I want it to be a real season and not just this. Not what the first season was, which was barely 6 episodes that felt like they were 20 minutes long at most, and just too short to get nowhere and do nothing. I'm not the biggest person as far as Castlevania lore goes. In fact, I don't know anything, so I really kind of wanted to learn some things. There's a new game. And I had to scroll through posts that were a day old before I could, actually play the, see the posts that are more recent. Even my own posts, like I saw a post from me that said 1 day ago, and now Hearthstone episode 918 aired on my channel 3 hours ago. So Twitter has gotten even crazier. No wonder I'm not seeing any of the what's on Steam content. And kill that. Turn. There's a game on Steam called Don't Pick on the Fat Kid. We'll talk about that on Monday. Let's see. This. And a turn. Keep on looking. Trendy Entertainment eyeing blockchain-based rewards for Dungeon Defenders 2. Interesting. Insane. But interesting. Gamma Sutra has a video how to create realistic motion for animal companions. That's poisonous again. Let's keep on scrolling.
I wonder.
I haven't had to mute anybody on my Twitter in a while. I think I've got it down to a manageable point. I wasn't muting people because they were saying things I disagreed with or anything. I was just muting them because I needed to make sure I was seeing all the what's on Steam posts. Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition.
Cool off at the #1 water park in North Texas, Six Flags Hurricane Harbor. Save up to 50% on combo passes with unlimited visits to Hurricane Harbor and Six Flags. Hurry, price goes up after June 17th.
I apologize for that. That must be the E3 stream playing some kind of Twitch ads. That's the only thing I've done recently. Playing audio ads inside of my stream, and I'm not getting any money for it. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, Episode 9. Had out 4 hours ago on my channel. Continue playing. The streak continues. The streak continues. We'll get up to rank 19. It seems like, unless... Even if you have a win streak like this, which this one is going really well, you're probably not... At my level of skill and attention that I put into playing Hearthstone, I'm probably not going to make it to rank 10.
Your soul shall
Like,
be
I just
mine.
don't believe that that's the case. And as soon as I lose, I'm gonna stop playing.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Let's see. Continuing to scroll down on Twitter. Assassin's Creed Revelations episode 13 aired on my channel 5 hours ago. Play this and let's leave it. Didn't get a good draw there. This might be the last one for me.
Extraordinary.
Okay, so I want to play this, this, and this. Attack that way in the turn. I think that was the right move. There's a game on Steam called Indentured Servant. Like, no duh, as soon as the first set of troll games get kicked off of Steam, I bet 20 other people are gonna try and put this different troll games on. I'm not saying Indentured Servant is inherently a troll game. It just sounds like one and kind of looks like one. Now I've hit the spinning wheel of Twitter, which tells me it's probably going to crash and stay at that spinning wheel. Let's do this. And this is why I love playing Murlocs. I love these Murlocs. They give me quick, fast victories, and when I get on a win streak, I get on a win streak, yeah. I've hit the Twitter spinning wheel of death. Let's see, I've gotten a couple likes. I've gotten some new people commenting on my channel, that's always nice and helpful. I've gotten some new people subscribing to my channels, that's nice and helpful too. Of course, every time somebody subscribes, it seems like YouTube unsubscribes somebody else, so the number never really goes up. I'm at like 250 as far as subscribers, and they want you to be at 1,000. And in a weird way, I'm closer to the point where I think I'd prefer them just to get rid of subscribers instead of having them as a requirement to the partner program. Because if they got rid of subscribers, I would have enough watch time, and then I could be remonetized and get away from e-begging as much as little of that as I actually do. I do a little bit of it, certainly. But I'd like to do less of it, or none of it, and just run ads.
Shields up.
And ideally, though, if they got rid of subscribers, then and everything was based on watch time, I'd like to see some improvements on. I would still have to reach some goals, I imagine, to get more ad revenue. I was only getting about $2 a week previously when I was monetized. Right, well, I guess I'm either gonna lose here, or I'm going to have to learn something. Let's see. I'm gonna just end my turn there. Probably is a good place to end it. This will probably be a good place to end this. We're an hour and 24 minutes over. I could have broken it up. I should break it up into 4 episodes. I'm just gonna have to be more stringent with myself. Just gonna check my email while I'm here. I'm getting other people addicted to Lego. Free pack day for the free golden pack is June 13th. So I guess I want to log in and all of that. Let's see. Humble monthly. Let's see. What can we do here? We've got the ability to freeze, but no Murloc does any damage. We can only play 2. So we need something that can... I think we freeze. Where's that guy? Battle cry, and freeze, and we kill. There we go. think we may got it. We may have it. Which, if we have it, I have to go another. I have to go another game. Play this and play this and play this and attack and lifesteal and attack here and return. I kind of want to win, but I kind of want to lose. Let's see. Let's open up my Clash Royale and open up another chest. Hold on. I don't think anybody's talking on the chat, so there we go. I don't know if I could ever really convert my Clash Royale account to like BlueStacks on my computer so that I could stream it.
Shields up.
There we go. So, can we survive this time? We play this. Let's see, we're gonna have to do a couple, so this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And yeah, that loses it for me. I've lost. The streak is broken. The streak is broken. If I could have, if I had any spell that would have done 3 damage at any point, I would have done that. But my over reliance on Murlocs and only Murlocs is such a one-note thought that that one spell that I could have held on to just wasn't in the collection. Streak is broken, but it worked perfectly nicely. We are up to rank 20, so maybe we can make it up to rank 21. Yes, again, the schedule, let me just double check. As I understand it, I'll just tell you in Pacific time. The IGN pre-show time for EA's press conference is tomorrow, June 9th, Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, or the conference starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I may actually stay up all night and try to get that conference streamed that way instead of trying this late, because it's pretty late right now. It's 8:45 Central Time. If I tried to go to sleep now, it'd probably take me 7 hours to sleep anyways, which would put me somewhere around 2 or 3 in the morning. Then I'd only get maybe 8 hours at most, and that's probably not how that's going to happen. So yeah, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, gift me a game or a gift card on Steam. That would be very helpful. Remember, the Steam summer sale is just a couple days away, so games will be cheap then. That's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.